Kia ora, I'm Wayne Taylor, the Managing Director of the International Rugby Academy of New Zealand Limited. The International Rugby Academy has been running for over 22 years now with graduates from over 40 countries around the world. Many have gone on to have fantastic careers at international level. We have All Blacks at the moment of Asafo Moa, Tuinga Fasi, TJ Perenara, Adi Savia, to name a few.
Hello everybody and welcome to the latest episode of Tech Talks. We're in season 3, episode 3, and we have a very special guest today. As you can see from the background, we have Mr. Wayne Taylor, the Managing Director from IRANZ in New Zealand, the International Rugby Academy of New Zealand. I'm going to say good morning, Wayne, but it's good evening for me. Good morning, Wayne. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'll say, hoe gaan het?
Het gaan baie goed. Yeah, you guys, I see you picked up some Afrikaans when you were here in SA.
Oh, a little bit, like general greetings and things like that, and then someone tries to have a full conversation and I say, ag nee man, my Afrikaans is nie goed nie.
I think that's all you need, eh?
Yeah.
So obviously, Wayne, you over there in New Zealand, I'm over here in SA, so it's time to go to bed for me and it's time to get up for you. But I'm very excited about today's episode. We're obviously going to talk about IRANZ and the very exciting news of IRANZ coming to South Africa, which I'm super, super excited about. But before we get into all of that nitty-gritty, we want to get to know you as a person first. So first question, why become a rugby coach?
That's a good question. I'm really passionate about development of people. So I get a real kick out of probably more now what I do than when I was in professional rugby, seeing the change in preparing those young coaches and players that are going to have a career like I've had, I suppose, and more. So I really enjoy developing people, probably. Yeah, I enjoy that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's why a lot of teachers are also so passionate coaches, not just generally rugby, but because we get that opportunity to influence somebody and also to shape them. And then we get to go on that journey with them to see where they started and how they end up reaching their dreams. So it's a very fulfilling job, no doubt about it. So when we're limited for time here, don't go too long, but talk to us a little bit about your coaching history.
Oh, yeah, very short. Look, my background was military first. I was a trainer in the army, and I was lucky enough to do New Zealand teams alongside that. So I worked Black Ferns New Zealand women's team, junior All Blacks as well for a couple of World Cups. Was involved with IRANZ in the setup early years with Murray, probably before I went to South Africa 2010. So other than doing NPC in New Zealand, Dick Muir came on a course. Short story, asked me to come over when he took over the Lions. So I'd spent 3 years with the Lions, a couple of years in Japan, back to South Africa for a holiday again, and met my lovely wife. She's South African, and then I've been there for the last 8 years, working up into Europe a bit with World Rugby teams, into Russia, Romania, consulted a bit with the Stormers with John Dobson when he started there. And other than that, I ran my own high performance company in Joburg around athletes outside of rugby and squash, equestrian, hockey, golf, etc.
It's absolutely incredible. And in the intro, we'll throw a little bit of your CV out there, the experience you have all over the world and all high performance teams, all teams that have done really well everywhere where you've been. So I guess that leads into the next question. Why do you think you've been able to be so successful? What is it about you that made you able to be part of all these high performance setups and being successful in those environments?
That's a good question. Well, it comes honestly, the easiest answer for that question is that I've never gone to teams. I've always gone to the people. So if you look at the startup of Tasman Marcos here, I had no history with that team when they first started. They're now, they're tapping on and have won national championships. But I went there because I was going to be there with a really good coach who'd been a mentor to me, Dennis Brown, and Todd Blackadder. And I knew working with the right people, we could do it. Same with the Lions when I went there. I went to the Lions because Dick Muir asked me. I didn't know anybody else at the Lions. I had met Johan Ackerman, but that's the reason I went there. So I think the key thing is working with the right people.
Yeah, I think that's the secret spice in coaching rugby, is coaching the person and working with people and understanding that it's human beings and it's not. Sometimes, especially in South Africa, where a lot of people is very system focused and it's results driven, and they forget that it's about relationships with people. So I love that answer. So I want to get now to the exciting part of the conversation. We've been talking for a while, and it's about bringing the International Rugby Academy of New Zealand to South Africa in October. So this is something I'm super excited about, bringing high quality coaches over here to come and work with some of our coaches and come and work with some of our players. Obviously, we know the two top countries in the world with regards to rugby, South Africa and New Zealand. We saw it in the World Cup final again, separated by 1 point. So we're all very excited about learning from you guys. But if we start first by Wayne, you telling us a little bit about what is the International Rugby Academy of New Zealand? Why did it get started? What was the goal around getting this organization going?
Yeah, so it was started by Murray Megstead, and younger listeners may not remember him. He's a number 8 for New Zealand, held his jersey over the period that he played for the All Blacks. Nobody wore his jersey over that period. He played all the consecutive tests. His passion for starting it was, you know, the learnings that you have when you go on tour and you spend time together, and that was to try and create a camp environment where, you know, you had that exponential growth over a period. It's obviously progressed a long way from there now. I wanted to bring in a lot of high performance coming back in the way that I saw the development of players and coaches, and been really fortunate to surround myself with the right people. This is almost our 25th year of running these courses, so we had a lot of experience in it. One of our earliest graduates was Francois Stain from you guys, James Slipper, most capped Wallaby. They were some of my earliest guys I had on courses at the beginning of their career. South African coaches, Dick Muir, it's where I met Dickie. John Dobson, been having a couple of chats with Dobbo lately as well around what he's doing. So we've got a long history of doing what we do. Really important though, we're not New Zealand Rugby. We're a completely independent academy, and we're a solution to development for them. But last week I ran a camp for 110 in Australia. We've got 6 other countries we're in this year as well. So we are completely independent, and lucky to draw on some really good resource people around me.
Yeah, that's very awesome. And obviously, early in my coaching journey, when I was very much a YouTube coach, I found a lot of seminars that you guys did in I think you were in Argentina for a while, in the US, and Murray was still running a lot of those, and that's how I got exposed to IRANZ, and I realized that the way the coaches think, the way you guys philosophize around the game is completely different to the way we do it here in South Africa. But it's such a incredibly professional, detailed point of view that I know the South African coaches will love. And you've mentioned 2 or 3 guys that you're aware of that's done it. In our schoolboy system here in South Africa, our former SA Schools head coach, Shaun Erasmus, has done the course. Our previous, 2 years ago's head coach, Katlego Lynch, has done the coach. We have a coach at our school right now, Bertus Enston, who's done the coach literally a year ago. And it's opening doors and opportunities. I mean, you spoke about John Dobson. John Dobson literally said he's not going to do World Rugby Level 3 because he's done the IRANZ course and he knows everything he needs to know. And he's obviously very successful at the Stormers. So that's really, really awesome with regards to the quality that the coaches are going to get. So I'm super excited. I can't wait for you guys to get here. But if you can maybe just give us a few more big names that has gone through the system. I know I saw on your Instagram you've congratulated a lot of pro players that are currently playing for All Blacks. So you can maybe name drop a few guys.
Oh, sure. Look, I wouldn't want to miss guys out, but probably the names that the younger generation would know now. Adi Savia, his brother Julian came through just before him. You know, the All Black hookers are Safal Moa, Cody Taylor, TJ Piranara. You know, they all came through. Off of Tuanga Fasi. Those sort of players have all come through. They're probably the names that are most memorable. Like everybody, we had a bit of a pause over COVID for 2 or 3 years. New Zealand's borders were closed for quite a while, so we did some online coach development. I think the big thing to bring out there, Tishis, is post-COVID, it's very expensive to travel. And we've had a number of coach graduates. We've had a few from South Africa actually over the last year. And the same up into America, Canada, up into the UK, Europe. And so those coaches have turned around and said, look, would you consider coming and running a course in our area? And we will help you with venue and everything, similar to South Africa. So we're basically looking to take our course to the market, not because we're marketing ourselves, but because we've been asked to come there. Up in, you know, Andrew Barnes up in Johannesburg is one of our coach graduates. I've got to give him a plug. I think he's got a huge future as a coach. He was our top coach on our advanced coaches. And then down there's obviously yourself and John Dobson and that down in the Western Province. So that's why we're coming to the market this year with a lot of different courses to cater to that.
Yeah, it's been great having players from all over the world. We've had Sri Lankans, French boys, and our South African boys. Yeah, they've come brought a really high standard to our program, both from the Western Province area, schooled down there, and they've certainly added their flavour. I think they've driven a really high standard. So both Zander and Skulk have been very impressive. So I think they'll go back to South Africa better players, and no doubt they'll grow their teams that they go back into when they return home.
Well, that's awesome, and that's literally how we started talking. Is I wanted to come over to New Zealand to do the course, and it's just financially it wasn't viable for me. And then you literally said, "But okay, let's see if we can bring it to SA," and that's why I'm so excited that we could get this thing up and running. I can't wait for October, which it's October already, but it's going to be absolutely awesome. So, Wayne, if you can maybe just give us a little bit of insight to who are some of the coaches that work with you, and let's start with the coaches. What can coaches expect from the 5-day camp in Cape Town and the 5-day camp that you're going to do in Johannesburg?
Yeah, so Colin Cooper does a lot of work with me. Colin Cooper's history, won NPC with Taranaki, coached Hurricanes, Chiefs, Māori All Black coach, one of the most respected coaches in New Zealand. I haven't met a single player that didn't enjoy being coached by Coops. He's really worked over the last 2 years. He's really passionate about our vision, what we want to achieve, and he's really evolved, and I'll put people around him where he's got so much knowledge and experience. But the big thing about coaching is that pedagogy, as you know, as a teacher, the ability to teach. There's lots of ex-players and coaches that have fantastic knowledge, but their ability, to coach a coach is a different skill set. Coops is outstanding at facilitating that course, and I surround him with knowledge coming in. He will facilitate the coaches' courses in South Africa, travel with us, and almost director rugby over how we're doing everything there. Really good at keeping a look at our environment. Excuse me. I drive all the high performance, how we want to be operating in a professional environment. What are the habits and behaviours to be successful? Present a lot around high performance mindset, planning, preparation, recovery, nutrition workshops. We bring people in. So it's really about what do you do when you leave the course to be successful? Our mindset as coaches is inspire growth. So if we've got a 7-day course, we need to inspire as much coaching time and growth over that 7 days. And the key thing there is that I think we've got to be careful, like they say, the only thing that spoon feeding teaches you is the shape of a spoon. And then when you step away, people fall over. So we want to teach them what they should be doing through that course. When we shake their hand at the end, it's not congrats, you've finished. It's congrats, we got you to the start line. And now what you do with this information when you leave will dictate your success. Coaches will get a lot of growth out of that. My observation in South Africa, coaching players, there's so much talent there and passion towards the game. It's in your blood, the same as it is in ours. And it's just having those structures and understanding. World Rugby are great qualifications, tick box, technical, making sure people are developing. I'd like to think that, we add a different dimension to that. The players, Aaron Mage is a big part of that. Again, Aaron's really, really good at being able to convey that message and teach in that space, which is a real art, particularly around youth. So he heads up a lot of our player courses and how they will be run. I'll surround him with the right people coming over. I've got some names in mind that are ex-All Blacks that will come with him, but we just need to confirm plans around that. So I wouldn't want to drop names in that may not be there, but suffice to say there'll be 4 or 5 of us there that will be of that level. And then for me, getting guys in South Africa, excuse me, that I know and I value their opinion, to have them bring in and add value around the coaches that I have. John Dobson's really keen to present on this course to add value. And I think it's important, particularly for the Cape Town course, that those in the area that are passionate about playing for Western Province and the Stormers, they get a good understanding of what's being looked for.
Impe
I can't stop smiling every single time we talk about what's coming, because I know just what incredible value it's going to bring for all our coaches over here. And as we've spoken before as well, yes, World Rugby is there and their accreditation is important to a certain degree. But I think level 2 is very elementary. And then level 3 is for the only elite guys over here. So I think you guys are going to bring, firstly, knowledge that we don't have yet, a different point of view. But then what I'm almost looking forward to the most is the New Zealand way of doing things. I think merging that South African mindset and that New Zealand mindset, and then creating this hybrid of the two combined, I think is something that's going to take all the coaches that do this course to a completely different level.
Yeah, Tish, that's a really good point, because we're not presenting like the New Zealand way of coaching. We're really giving the fundamentals of, coach philosophy, team culture, how are you structuring things, what are the fundamentals around the key blocks of, as an example, phase attack, phase D, set piece attack, set piece D, and then you express yourself within those things. And I'm finding, on our advanced coaches last year, as an example, we had capacity 16, 9 different countries on that course. Probably 70% of that course had World Rugby level 3. The two types of coaches we tend to see, which is really applicable in South Africa, is you get that real passionate coach who can get everybody on board and they'll play for him and die on the field. And then you've got that really technical coach who's done every course at the other end. What we'd like to think is that our IRANZ advanced course, and those World Rugby level 3 guys, a lot of them found themselves out of their depth a little bit around, now I actually have to coach, because it is very hands-on. You're presenting in different management teams. One's the head coach, assistant coaches, you've done your analysis. Now you've got to present it. Are you cluttering it? How are you getting your message across? What different tools are you using? Remembering the youth, they all learn differently than we do. We can't just talk. There's got to be a lot more of the visual, audio, the read-write, the kinesthetic, the doing, and that's how we'd layer that. So we'd like to think that we've got those two types of coaches, and we're trying to bring them to the middle, where that really motivated coach is getting the detail he needs, and that coach who's technically very good and quite an analyst, bringing him into the middle around and improving his skill set, creating more of a rounded coach.
My experience at IRANZ has been great. It's been a massive honour and privilege to learn amongst the best. I've learned so much developing my rugby and my knowledge about rugby. Coach Aaron Major, played 12 for the All Blacks. He taught me just to own my role, do the little things the best to create success to the team and contribute to the team. And he just taught me how to position myself at a fairly new position in rugby, because I've never played outside centre before, and he's helped me so much in that position. So I'm really grateful to learning from Coach Azza. Yeah, I would recommend South Africans to come here, especially if it's for rugby, because this is such a successful rugby nation, and it's such a great country. It's such a beautiful country to be. So yeah, that's really great.
I'm so excited. This is going to be awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk about coaches the whole time here, and then we're not going to get to the players, because they're also a very key part of this component. So you've mentioned that you do have a number of coaches that'll be part of the setup, but the key focus is obviously to work with players. And I know there's been players all over the country that have gone to New Zealand and done this course. Again, we have a boy at our school, Sander, who did the course last year and can't stop talking about how great it was. But for the players that are going to do this course, so it's ages 16 to 18, right? So it's grade 10s to grade 12s. What can the players that are going to do this course expect from the IRANZ setup?
Just coming back to that point I said before, is about they need to understand, if you look at generally at a coaching time, even in a professional environment, say if you average out over the 7 days, you've got 4 hours of really intense contact time with those players. The way I interpret that is there's 20 other hours where they can enhance that product, or they can actually break it down. So I find that players generally, they get a good idea of what hard work looks like, but what is the other part of that equation where they can maximize their talent? We put a big emphasis around that, those habits and behaviors, and giving them the knowledge to do it. The next part would be individual skill assessment. So having a look at where are their strengths and what are the areas that we need to work on. We're not talking about weaknesses. It's always about where can we be better? What are the areas we can create more growth? The example would be if we look at our tight five, often can hit a pass to the left, but that critical pass to the right that they can't hit. Under analysis with top teams, they will see that. You know, they've got a big right shoulder hit. He doesn't have a great left tackle. Let's attack that shoulder. So that sort of detail, giving them a full skill set of tools, giving them much better game understanding of what is their positional role within that, and then positionally, individually, what are the skill sets specific to their position where they can be better. All of those things are like a toolbox that we're collecting continually through that 6-7 days. At the end, they've got their toolbox full where we're saying inspire growth for them. They have to be better every day. And my expectations are really big steps of growth every day as we add to that toolbox.
That's so important. I think the proof of the detail in New Zealand skills coaching is the way New Zealanders play rugby. And then it's also, I know you're probably not going to accept this compliment, but the fact that you went to the Lions and those boys started jawling and they upped their skill level, everybody can run, kick, catch, pass. That was because the New Zealand coach was involved there. That's because you guys are so skill detailed that there's mechanisms and micro skills that we don't necessarily think of over here because we're very focused on the physicality and that part, where I think you guys bring that mindset. And that's what I actually meant when I said merging the two mindset is our physical way of playing combined with your skill way of playing. I think it'll just take these players to the next level. And I think it's really important for a young boy that considers becoming a pro to do this course in either Joburg or in Cape Town. I know it's expensive, but it's absolutely going to be worth it. And it's going to open doors and opportunities. I know it will. It has done already. I mean, you mentioned some of the players that are graduates. So if I can just throw my 2 cents in, I think this is something everybody should consider. If you're serious about coaching, you need to do this. And if you're serious about becoming a pro player right now, if you're a grade 10 or grade 11 boy, you need to consider this course. It's non-negotiable.
Yeah, Tertius, I think we get a lot of feedback from parents afterwards saying, best money I ever spent. The skills that make you successful in rugby, if you look at our slogan is maximize your potential, but part of what we're doing with growing them as individuals is maximize your potential through rugby. Now, those guys that are successful successful players, what's made them successful with a long period of time is the reason that they're generally successful when they leave the game. Because of their work ethic and the way they conduct themselves. Those things that don't require talent, you know, your timekeeping, passion, bringing energy, attitude, being well prepared, all of those sorts of things there are what's made them successful in the game. They're the same things I'm promoting and presenting to businesses and corporates and leaders within schools because it's the same recipe. So that's where they get that growth. You know, example, I'm saying, mums, get out of the way. Like, don't pack their lunch. To get, you know, they have that knowledge base. Their mum's job or whoever in the family is to stock the cupboards. Your job is to pack your food. You know what you need. Pack your bags, get organized, own your experience. And part of that is when you're successful, it's because of you as an individual. We're your biggest supporters, parents, IRANZ, all those that are coaching in South Africa, but it has to be them. We can't want it more than them.
So I only know of 2 players that have done this course, and I know of 3 coaches that have done this course. The first player is Frans Bastijn, the most decorated rugby player in the history of South African rugby. The second player is Zander Enslen, who did this course last year. He didn't represent Western Province on any level at schoolboy. He went there in January 2024, and in July of 2024, he became a Western Province under 19 rugby player. The two coaches that I'm aware of is Sean Erasmus, who was a pro coach at the Lions, is at the boys high right now and is Western Province Crime coach and was a former SA schools coach. The other one is Katlego Lynch, former SA school coach. And then the third one is Bertus Enston, who is now our first team assistant coach. So there is credentials there. Obviously, something happens in this course that takes you to the next level.
Yeah, one of the things that our coaches, I think, coming on the course need to know, basically with our structure, we're running a professional environment and the coaches are getting a really clear picture of how we do that. I mentioned the pedagogy of teaching. So it can be like a pre-installation the night before. All players and the coaches course get the same information around what will be delivered on the field next day. And there's an expectation that they come in with an understanding of their role. And then the coaches are watching that delivered from a preview, how are we delivering that preview? My coaches are doing that, to then we're going into an installation. How are we installing that information? A refuel. Now let's take that to the next level, that intensity on the field. So it's that layers of learning. And how is that? So there's real clarity around roles and positional requirements. After that on field, which the coaches course are observing all of that, then the coaches that are coaching the players and Colin Cooper, they all spend time in the coaches course debriefing, and then the coaches ask questions. What was happening here? What do you think of this? Why were you doing that? And have a proper interactive discussion. If we're covering phase attack as an example, after lunch, all the coaches are now with Colin Cooper going through the phase attack fundamentals of that and discussions and clips, working through huddle. So there's a real interaction there. So there's that whole clarity through that day for coaches where, that part of the jigsaw puzzle becomes a lot clearer. And then the next day the same, right through until game day, which we then get, in the game we're going through, or on that day, what does a normal professional day look like? We're drawing a really clear picture all of the time for players and coaches, and they can express their own environments within that. The analysis from that game there when it's coded, how are we debriefing that positionally, and then also in our units and as a team, how are we taking that information and conveying it back to them to create growth going into the next performance?
I mean, that's what more do you want? What else is there that a guy needs to learn at this level? So yeah, it's just, I can't wait. I've got to keep saying it. I can't wait for October. Wayne, just before we finish off, is there anything else you would like to say to prospective coaches and players who are going to do this course in Cape Town from the 4th of October to the 9th of October and in Johannesburg from the 16th of October to the 21st of October?
Oh, look, I'm really passionate about coming there. I spent 14 years, over a 14-year period in South Africa. The talent in South Africa is off the charts. It's scary for New Zealand. I think my observations, the difference, New Zealand, our funnel of talent is smaller. So our development systems have had to be better than anywhere in the world, because the reality is we just don't have the numbers, that other countries have. An example would be South Africa with the numbers that are there. And I've always said, if South Africa get their development systems better, which they're obviously doing, it's pretty scary for the rest of the world. I think there's a real hunger from South African coaches and players to learn. And like I said, I'm really passionate about South African rugby, having lived there, and a pretty good understanding of, the culture, what people are looking for, and the rugby. So,
what is the role of the loose forward trio? Why do they exist? Why? Because they didn't always. There used to be a 2-3-2 scrum back in the day, but now there's 3 loose forwards. Why? What is their role? Continuity. What does that mean? A link between the forwards and backs. What does that mean? What are they doing? What do they have to do? Keep the ball alive. What?
Like possession.
Regain possession. Now this is when the opposition have got the ball, right? So what about when we've got the ball? Maintain it. Okay, now that is in essence what you have to understand. That their job, their existence is to retain and regain ball. Really, really important.
Yeah, it hasn't been hard to convince any of my coaches to come to South Africa. Their experience has always been really positive, Super Rugby, and also I think with the All Blacks, but particularly when they're over there, they may get a day off, they can do something. But if you've looked at the dates of our courses, there's about 6 days between courses. I miss South African bush terribly. I think I was more homesick initially than my wife when we first come back there. We both miss South Africa, our friends, my wife's family, and the culture terribly. The friends I had there for 14 years became like my family. So, I'd come tomorrow if the course was being run tomorrow. I'd jump on a plane. So we can't wait to be there. My favourite thing to do there is to go to the bush. I used to love to go to the beach, but South Africans have changed the way that I am, and there's nothing quite like it. So we can't wait to come there. We're really excited about it, excited to be involved with the development. And I think it's an important note that when we come to any environment, we're not there to say, this is how you do things. We're there to say, how can we enhance your environment? You have the skill, you have the abilities. How can we help you with your development, players and coaches? And where can we really inspire growth to make a difference? And that's what we do. That's what we're passionate about. That's what we love.
And that's why I also know that the South African coaches are going to love this, because the two things you've already mentioned is your slogan there behind you, maximize your potential, which is something we're big on. And then, like you've also said, because the South African schoolboy coaches over here are so hungry for information and knowledge to just learn, because we just want to get better. I just want to be a better coach tomorrow than I was today. And I think over the 5 days, I'm looking forward to growing and to seeing how this is going to take my coaching to the next level. So super excited. And I know everybody here is going to lose their minds when they hear that you guys are coming, because right now there hasn't been a lot said about it. We've kind of kept it quiet still, but we're going to throw it out there now and see how many people are going to jump on. And I think you're going to be overwhelmed by the response. Definitely.
Can't wait, mate. We're excited as well.
So you kind of already answered my last question. I'm going to ask it again. I'm going to ask it anyway. Like you said, you're a veteran South African, kind of. You've got a South African wife, and you've lived here for a while. What are the 3 things you're most excited about to do or experience or have or eat when you come back to SA? You've already said the bush, so I've got that one, but give me 3 more.
Cool. Most excited about? Yeah, I like the bush. Cooking over coals.
Okay.
We're lucky there's actually a South African pantry here in Wellington, so my wife visits there regularly, because I was missing 5 Roses tea. New Zealand tea's rubbish. I've told them that. So we've got 5 Roses tea in our house. Nice. We were lucky we had for dinner the other night. Oh, it was an absolute dream. My wife still makes pup for us, and we've got to make sure people understand that, hey, while we're having this, what else? I can't wait to get back and look, you just land in Johannesburg, and then before you fly anywhere else or whatever, you just know you're there. Just driving on the motorways and seeing everything and just embracing it all. I can't wait. I really, really can't wait to get back. I'm getting excited. It's too long now.
Yeah. No, I still also have to get myself calm, because it's still 5 months, but looking forward to it so much. I can't wait to do this course. I can't wait to meet all of you in person and just start sharing rugby stories and knowledge and IP about the game. So, Wayne, I want to say thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the information you've given us about the course. Thank you for bringing the course to South Africa. We're so excited about this. And I know it's a massive undertaking, and it says a lot about your willingness to share as well, to pick up everybody over there and bring them over here and come and share with us. So on behalf of everybody in South Africa, thank you for your time. Thank you for bringing the course over here. And I'm excited to go on this 5-month journey with you guys.
Awesome, mate. Thanks for having us.
It's an absolute pleasure. Cheers.